Hey guys, Dan here, and I'm coming at you with a Pokemon video. This video is going to be about how to get a living National Dex for your Pokemon home. Now, I know some people probably have major issues trying to get this done. It looks like a huge task. But I do have a couple tips for you. This is what I learned when I got mine. So I'm going to just tell you what I learned. First thing is breed shinies. I underestimated at the time how valuable shiny Pokemon were. I didn't think that they were probably worth that much. It's just a different color swap. They're not particularly difficult. Some of them aren't particularly difficult to get. So I was like, hey, you know, it wasn't until I saw on Twitter that someone had traded a shiny Dreepy for it was one of the legendaries. I want to say it was the Regidrago. I was like, huh, I never thought to trade one of my shinies for a legendary. So I had a bunch. I was a breeder because I just like to breed competitive Pokemon and breed shinies. And I was like, hey, I got a bunch. They don't have good stats. Why don't I just trade them off? And on top of that, if you play Pokemon Go, you get a lot of shinies in that game. So it's very easy to put them up for trade and get legendary Pokemon. So it saves you some time from having to replay a game or something like that. Or you already played Sun and now you got to play Ultra Sun. It definitely saves a lot of time to just trade the shiny. Second tip that I have, get yourself something from the 3DS line and you're going to soft mod it. Put custom firmware on there. There's such an advantage to doing that versus not. It's literally no reason to not do it. One thing that I found that helped out with me is there is a Pokemon called PKSM. It's a save edit software, and I'm not telling you to hack in Pokemon because that's just not going to help you. Like, just don't do it. Especially since Nintendo's really cracking down on hacked-in Pokemon. You don't want to go down that route. But one thing that makes it extremely easy to do is transfer up Pokemon. If you've ever tried to do it before, you've probably done it a bunch. You need 2 DSs to transfer Pokemon from Gen 4 to Gen 5. That's annoying. Getting to Pokemon just into your Gen 4 is already annoying. So having to play that stupid minigame, ugh, I don't want to deal with it. Once you get it in Gen 5, you can just transfer it up the bank. But one thing you can do is, basically PKSM has its own Pokemon bank functionality in it. So you can take your Pokemon from that game, just pop it in, open up Pokemon Save Manager, put it into its version of Pokemon Bank, put in your Gen 5 game, and drag it in, and it'll be there and you can upload it to Pokemon Bank. It saves you so much time from having to go into Pal Park or having to buy Heart Gold or Platinum or Diamond and Pearl and trying to catch from there and then transfer it up to Gen 5 and play the crossbow game where you catch it. That feature alone is worth just soft modding. And you can soft mod a DS and I think in about 15 minutes now. It's very easy to do it. I'm going to have links up to everything I'm talking about. It's going to be in the description and you'll see bubbles popping up the entire time. So, you know, just to click on it and you'll be able to go to the Hacks DS page and soft mod it. And from there you can learn where to download apps and stuff. Again, I do not recommend using that Save Edit Manager to actually just give yourself a living National Dex because, one, you're not earning it then, and two, it makes it much more likely that your Pokemon Home account is going to get shut down because Nintendo's really cracking down on hacked Pokemon because apparently it's a huge issue. Hey, just cutting in real quick into the middle of the video, I did notice that I did forget one thing on this custom firmware for the 3DS, and that is, where is that terrible game? This game. If you want to get Manaphy, you have to play this game. Some people love it, some people hate it. As a kid, I liked Pokemon Ranger. I don't enjoy playing it as an adult. I don't find it to be an enjoyable experience. So you do have 2 routes for this. If you have a custom firmware 3DS and you have Pokemon Ranger, if you use software, custom firmware software, to delete the save file on here, you can still get Manaphy from it. So if you go in-game and delete the save file and someone had already gotten the Manaphy, you couldn't get it again even if you deleted the save file and replay the game. But if you delete the same file with custom firmware software like JKSM or Checkpoint, and you delete the save file and completely wipe the cart, you can get a Manaphy again. On top of that, there are also save files available that someone has gotten to the point where you can just get Manaphy. If you want to go that route also and not play this game, I would recommend going through that route, because I played through it. I wasn't super impressed with it, but if you like the game, maybe you want to play through it, and you can just use custom firmware to wipe the save file and get your Manaphy. Third thing I learned, I'm going to again post a link to another video. Someone has set up custom DNS servers for the Gen 4 and Gen 5 games so that you can tweak the Wi-Fi settings on your DS and you'll be able to get event Pokemon from those generations. They're legit. I mean, as legit as they can be. Obviously, you won't be around. You wouldn't have been around for them, but I see this as less of a slight against the community as hacking in Pokemon, because that is how you get the Pokemon, is just you were around for the event. It's not like you earned it or anything like that. So I'd say that that's one exception that I'd be fine with, just getting the Pokemon that way, is just downloading an old event to your old game and transferring it up that way. Again, I'll post a link to that video. It's got instructions. You might have some issues with your home Wi-Fi, so you might need to use your phone as a hotspot. It's a pretty good video, so I'd definitely check it out if you're looking to get those event-exclusive Pokemon. Yeah, I think that's how I got my Arceus, was through that. So it's definitely a good way to do it. I had everything else from Gen 4, I just didn't have the Arceus. You can also do the tweak glitch to get Arceus, but I was like, let me try doing the DNS. At least it'll be the event one. So next thing I have is breeding down evolutions. This specifically applies to Sword and Shield, where you can get a lot of trade evolution Pokemon, like your Gengar, your Machops, I mean, your Machamps, I don't know why I'm saying that. But, you know, those trading evolutions where it's like, I have to have 2 games, I have to trade with someone, I have to get a friend, or I have to go on Twitter, see if someone's willing to do the trade with me. It's great that you can just catch that Pokemon, breed it twice, and you'll have the entire evolutionary line. Now, of course, it doesn't work if you want them to be from their native regions. Then you're going to have to get those games and play them. But that is a great way to get full evolutionary lines. Another thing I'd like to recommend is actually playing Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee. Now, I know they aren't the most popular games, but they do give you your Mewtwo relatively easily. It's an interesting enough game to play, and it's easy to get shinies in those games as well. I would say they're worth your time. I wouldn't say it's necessary to play them, but before they added Pokemon home functionality into Pokemon Go, it was the only way to trading your Pokemon Go Pokemon. Now it's not as big of an issue. Now with Pokemon Go, they have, which was my next tip, is play Pokemon Go. They do events all the time in that game for different generations. They actually have the Johto event coming up. Well, I think that was last week. Coming up in February is the Kanto event, where they're going to be releasing for the first time a shiny Mew. You do have to pay $13, but it's a shiny Mew, and I don't mind paying money for that game. I feel like I actually get something out of it when I play it. It's a lot of fun, good community of people. Obviously, during the pandemic, got a little tight, but it's a lot better now. As far I'd say it's adapted very well to the pandemic, and they've definitely made it safe to play with people and very enjoyable. And the community days have been great. A lot of shiny Pokemon. I've gotten entire shiny evolutionary lines from community days. So I definitely recommend playing that game. It's a lot of fun. I know a lot of people have dropped off since the initial hype, but they've done a great job with maintaining that game and keeping people interested in it. Especially adding the Pokemon Home functionality was a godsend. There are some issues with it that I could say if I want to trade a legendary shiny Pokemon into the game, that's going to cost so much of the energy it takes, and you have to pay money to replenish your energy, or you can just wait. I usually would just wait. I would recommend waiting. But it is a great game. It's very easy to get legendary Pokemon, so again, it does cut down on your playtime on mainline games if you don't want to keep replaying, oh, I got to play Ruby for this game, for this legendary, I got to play Sapphire for that one. That type of situation where you're like, I want to play 2 of the same gen game, it definitely cuts down on that time. Next, I would say do Wanderbox trading on Pokemon Home. Pokemon Home is a great resource. You already have it if you're trying to get this Living National Dex, because that's the only way. Sword and Shield doesn't have all the Pokemon. So you have to have Home if you're trying to get a Living National Dex, if you want to get that original colored Magearna. So in my shiny breeding, I've had boxes and boxes of Litwicks, because I wanted to get a shiny Litwick. So I had boxes and boxes of them. I brought them into Home. I've been trading with them. I got a few legendaries from Pokemon Go in trades and Wonderbox trades. I've gotten a couple shinies. So it's definitely worthwhile. And I've gotten a wide variety of Pokemon from doing Wonderbox trades. A couple that are actually in my Living Dex, my Living National Dex right now. The one thing that I would say is a bit of an issue, which is a good thing and a bad thing, it's very starter Pokemon heavy, so you get a lot of Bulbasaurs and Squirtles and Charmanders and Scorbunnies and Sobbles, and the list goes on. Surprisingly, the only generation of Pokemon I needed to really try to get was Gen 2, because they aren't compatible with Sword and Shield, and Gen 5 was a bit difficult. I had to actually play each game till the point I got the starter, transfer the starter to Home, replay the game, get the next starter, transfer it to Home. Well, it's transferring it to Sun because I breed it, get the whole line, and then transfer it to Home. But you understand what I'm trying to tell you. Like, that was a bit of an issue. But all the other starters are very easy to get on Wanderbox. And if you don't want to pay for the premium Pokemon Home for Wanderbox, Sword and Shield does have Wander trading, and if you do get a switch up game enhancer, you could, which is a stick that automatically puts in control inputs to your Switch, so you can set it to trade entire boxes on Wander trade system in that game. It takes a little bit more time than doing Wanderbox, but you could do that as well. But again, then you're only stuck to Sword and Shield compatible Pokemon. So, you can do that with whatever you wish. Now, my next thing, I've already started talking about it, is Sword and Shield. I know a lot of people, for some reason, don't like those games. I think that they are good games. I wouldn't say that they're the absolute perfect Apex Pokemon game. But one thing that I think it doesn't get credit for is, yes, it does have a restricted Pokedex, but now with the addition of those 2 DLCs that they came out with, there are so many Pokemon in that game that you can catch, and they're easy to catch. They aren't like, oh, they spawn. It's not like old games where it'd be like, oh, they spawn on Tuesdays during the morning at this specific location. Like, a lot of the spawns are locked. You know how to get them, or they're weather locked. So you know you can just change the date and get a certain type of weather and go to catch that Pokemon. It's really easy to get legendaries in that game, and especially with the Crown Tundra DLC, it's really easy to get legendaries. I would say they did a great job with as far as the decks. Do I think that there should have been at least National Dex compatibility? Yes. But every Pokemon that is in that generation is catchable in that generation. So I would definitely recommend going and getting Sword and Shield. I think they're great Switch games. Hopefully the next releases improve on them and they're much better. But I think for a start on Nintendo Switch, I think they did a great job. Not perfect by any means. Number 8. I'd say I haven't been saying numbers, but the next thing that I learned to lean on, which I never did in my past, just trying to get this National Dex, which took me about... I had a large collection to begin with, but to actually finish it and get all the ones that I needed, it took me about 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks of playing games, and it was nice that I got to play through a few different generations of games and catch as much as I can and evolve everything. But the global trade system, if you're the type of person that doesn't want to buy multiple DS consoles, or you don't want to get multiple generations of consoles, it's really worthwhile to go on the GTS. It's still, I think, from Pokemon Sun to this generation, the GTS still works on Pokemon Sun and Moon. So you can go and trade people on there if you wanted to. So that's the entire backlog of games. As long as you can bring the Pokemon to Sun, you can trade. And then, of course, on Sword and Shield it works. Well, it's not on Sword and Shield. It's on Pokemon Home. But it's really good. I was able to find a lot of ththings that I needed. Now, you do have everyone on there that's asking for... I have a Bulbasaur and I want a Giratina if you want the Bulbasaur. Obviously, like, that's a terrible deal, and you always see posts like that on there. But if you post a good trade, you'll get a trade back in a couple hours. It really wasn't that hard to find someone to be like, oh, it's a good deal, I'm going to go do that trade that guy's offering. So as long as you're the one that's offering it, you can find it. I think the only place where I've actually found good trade deals was not on Pokemon Home. It was actually on the Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon GTS. There were still people posting on there, and they were still asking for reasonable trades. Hopefully once... I hope Nintendo doesn't shut it down, but it probably will eventually shut down the GTS on Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Hopefully that community transfers over to the Home GTS, and that becomes less of a bad environment. But I would say definitely check out the GTS. And now for the last thing that I learned, which I know I've mentioned it a couple of times already, is version exclusive Pokemon. It's been here since the first gen. They're not getting rid of it. It's how they get you to buy 2 games or go and find a friend that's got the other game. You can use Twitter and everything like that. There are trade codes for Sword and Shield to get your version exclusives traded over, but maybe you don't need to do that. If you already have a big backlog of Pokemon games, a version exclusive in one game might be available in a future generation that you already own. So it might be worthwhile to just go on Cerebi and check to see, okay, well, this is the version exclusive for this game. What other games did it show up in? There's only a handful of Pokemon I know that are exclusive to the regions that they were in, and I did have to go back and play them, but there's a lot of Pokemon that can be found in other generations. So that's the video. Those are all the tips that I have. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments down below or contact me on Twitter. If you need a trade or something, I'm willing to help you out. If you need a Pokemon, I'll breed it and trade it over to you. Just have to hit me up on Twitter. That's probably the easiest way for me to get in contact with you. You can go in the comments down below and ask as well, but I feel like it's a lot harder in the YouTube comments to actually communicate with people. So yeah, I'm definitely willing to help people grow their Pokemon collections if need be. Especially with Pokemon Home, it's very easy to just get a friend code, trade someone, and that's it. So yeah, that is all I have to say. So leave a like and a comment if you like the video. Subscribe if you like Pokemon content. I also do cover Star Wars and a litany of other franchises. So thanks, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.